Tuesday, May 2nd, 2017. Let's see if we can confirm that they are on here. Here is the link to the live feed on YouTube. Wow, look at all these tasks. So just to remind you, next steps go in the topics list. So if we cut that and we go to the global super team, we go down to the master topic list. Obviously, this needs a lot more work, but that's where this would go. Cool. But this looks amazing. I mean, this is a lot of tasks here that we have. I'm sure we've accomplished a lot of them, so it's a matter of like going through them, seeing what we've accomplished, what we haven't, making sure where everything is up to date, double, triple, quadruple check everything. All right, so let's see if you guys can see and hear me. Can you guys see and hear, see my screen? See and hear me? Great. So I did dinner. Done. Dinner is done. So this is also done. I also did the email to Greenstone. And we can check the calendar, see if there's anything I'm missing. So tomorrow we've got stand-up, internal ops. It's this tokens futures session. Okay. So tomorrow is just internal operations office hours. So that should be fine. Okay. So the first thing that we would do every day as a team is we would just make sure that all the daily or the day's tasks from the Andromeda team have been completed. So this is like step 1. And again, we are Team J, Abdul, and Ulyses, and part of this global super team. We really do need a name. One of these days when we get Lucy here, we should find out what's going on with Lucy, and that's definitely a priority, is who can come check in with Lucy, James, Abdul, not Abdul, Muhammad, etc., etc., etc. So make sure that all days from the job have been completed. So that's step 1. Step 2 would be, global communications. So making sure we're all communicating and collaborating together. So this is basically right here, checking in people who aren't here. And then 3 is, updating global task lists and documents, task lists, topic lists, and documents. And then 3 is like trainings and documents. I guess I could say other ongoing tasks, trainings as needed, and direct support for Andromeda team, and then supporting our own team and the full team. I want to join the Mercury. I'm guessing that's you, Abdul. So let's just, I'm assuming that you're already on here. So if we go to, I guess I'd have to log in, wouldn't I? I think I could probably see it here. So the Mercury session is on Saturday. And Lucy, no, I guess you're not there, Ulysses. So Ulysses, let me grab your email. Let's see, Ulysses, what's your email? So I'm just trying to grab your email so I can invite you to this one. Huh. This is not where I wanted to go. Personnel support. Oh, actually, no, there's another thing I can do. I can practice going to our global super team, and we should have our contact list set up. Let's see if our contact list works. Where would that be? Global weekly notes, spreadsheets. Where is our contact list? It still doesn't exist? Global contact list, global team contact list. So this would also be an important task that we need to continue to follow up with. Tasks for today. Global contact list. Didn't James do this? All right. Okay, so obviously that's not going to work. So let's go back to the personnel support team and go to the list of active workers. And we want Ulysses. Come over here to the calendar, add you as a guest, boom, save, send. Cool. Okay, so that is good. So we still want to check in on James and Muhammad to see if they can come. So I don't know if maybe Abdul, you could do Muhammad, and James, you could do Lissy, you could do James. All right, so there's another task. And then we also want to do like just general scheduling. Very important. Cool. So I think this is pretty good on all of this. You guys have any questions? Or I would say that this would generally go in our buddy team doc. And these would be our daily priorities. So those would be daily priorities. Cool. So let's do an index here. Going to do, I think the best thing to do is ranking. So personnel ranking, etc., etc., etc. And this is, so are there any questions on all the tasks that need to be done and like our general goals for the priorities for every day? Dinner was good. Yes, dinner was definitely good. Do you guys have any questions so far? Okay, so we're gonna do personnel ranking. And let's see what minute it is. It is currently minute 12. Minute 12, so we're gonna do the index here. And this is something you guys should get better at, is helping out with the indexing. This would be question mark T is equal to 12M. And that would be the index. And then we would copy and paste that there so that the link works directly. All right, so let's see if there's any questions. I think we're good to go. So let's go ahead and start the personnel ranking. Okay, so we know, so there's 3 categories of personnel ranking. Great. Okay, so there's three categories of personnel rankings. And the reason, so why do rankings? Well, there's a couple reasons, right? One, this is like part of our elections and democratic systems. 2, for decision making. 2, we allow workers to choose their own rates, so it's part of our checks and balances. 3, let's see, Jay, this is Jane's contact list. Okay, why you? Looks good. Yeah, looks good. Ulyses can contact him. Okay. All right. So so then the third component here for the personnel rankings of why we're doing it is really just to help us prioritize and get efficient, effective, and professional work done. So the good news is that the rankings are redone every month, right? And you can have over time, you can have more rankings, and you can even do daily and weekly rankings and all that. But generally, as far as like the budgets go, in relation to the budgets, it's like a monthly. 3 categories of rankings. The 3 categories are the budget and pay rankings. So, it's pretty simple. If you're asked for $5,000 a month, which is not like that much, but let's say you want $10,000 or $20,000 a month, it's basically you would be a lower ranking because we couldn't fit you in the budget. It's that simple. So then, ability to fit in the budget. So the easier it is to fit you in the budget, the higher you rank. The next ranking is contributions. So this is based on more involvement equals higher ranking. So this is based on time, community equity, and other contribution credits. Okay, so that's higher. Yeah, there you go. And then the third is the third for rankings are evaluations. So this is evaluations and elections, right? This is basically like, how good is your work in general, as well as it's not really how good is your work. I don't think that's the right term. It's more like deliverables, and just like support from other team members. Okay. Cool. So I think that's pretty much the 3, and it's really important to understand that these 3 categories of personnel rankings are actually nice. That's great. Thanks for messaging James, Abdul. Cool. So I think it's important to note here that all 3 of these have like, basically are checks and balances on each other. So, to make decisions, you would need 2 out of these 3 ranking. You could technically combine all 3. So can technically combine all 3 to create a 4th ranking system, a 4th set of rankings. But that would technically be a separate step. That'd be slightly different. Cool. So I think that's pretty much it on like the types. So we're going to go into obviously the budget and pay rankings more, and then we can start talking about the contribution rankings and the evaluations and elections rankings. So let's go with let's see, personnel, and then we want to go, I think it should just be in our global team. We should have the rankings here. Async spreadsheet, prioritization. All right. So the main thing we want to do is add in James, Lucy, and Hamid. Steve is basically right now is our Rico. Heather is just societal equity, Mel's good cause group. Cool. So Abdul, I don't know why this is bolded. All right. So the easiest way to think this is that basically the higher your rank is, means that you're the boss. So Heather is basically all of our bosses, and then Mel, and then Steve, and then Ulysses, right? And then myself, and then Abdul, Isaac, Jorge, Nelly, right? So basically, if you're on the list, everybody below you on the list is working for you, right? As we get more volunteers, we'll see that basically volunteers are always at the top of the list, although they're still getting equity. So in this case, Heather's getting societal equity. Okay, so the first thing is the jurisdiction. I believe James is in Kenya as well as Lucy. Kenya. Mohammed is in Pakistan, I believe. We do the month. Here would be the month jurisdiction pay, base jurisdiction pay, and then base hourly, and then the needs, whether the person's basic life needs have been met. So a lot of this information can come directly out of their personnel files. So let's give Lucy a try. So I'm going to go to the global team. I'm going to open up her Lucy. I'm going to open up her main doc and pull up her online personnel file. Okay, so the first thing is the jurisdiction is $700 a month, or about $5.83 per hour. And we can double check that to make sure. Well, we'll double check it here. So if I go back to the rankings, which is here. So Lucy is $700 per month. And then this should just be this all divided up, and it is $6 an hour. Okay, perfect. Let's see if she said about her basic life needs are not met. So this would be a no. And I mean, it does affect some of our decision making. If we know someone's life needs are met, that means if you cut their pay, it affects more than somebody whose life needs aren't met. So their ideal monthly time, I believe, is full time, which would be, I guess this would be more like weekly, right? Weekly time. It's full time. Steve, I know, is just like part time. I mean, I don't even know. Mel, I don't even know. It's like 2 to 3 hours. Ooh, by the way, I need to send her a quick message. Mel, seems like it might be too late already. I'm definitely down to schedule a time if that works for you. All right, so let's see here. And Heather is like a couple hours a month. So let's give her like 1 hour per week is her ideal, if not less, right? Maybe it's even 0.5. Okay, so ideal monthly rate is going to be, let's check out on Lucy. Ideal monthly is $1,000 a month. So we put $1,000 a month there. Her ideal hourly rate is, well, that would just be the $1,000 a month divided by the number of hours. The ideal hourly cost in the question here would be, does she have an additional hourly cost of billing? It would be $5 an hour. So this would be, okay, so that's our ideal. So then we do the lowest agreed upon time. And this is for April. So this would be all April/May budget pay ranking. So this is gonna go down a little bit. Won't worry about that. Okay. Next is, and I don't really think we even need that. Okay, so next is the weekly time. So she agreed to work $100 for 10 hours. So we would put 10 hours here and $100 a month. So that would be, yeah, that's correct. All right. Cost fees on the payment method. So we don't know exactly how we're paying her yet, but we'll work that. Hey Jay, I don't find the contact list spreadsheet that he sent to us. Yeah, I know, I can't find it either. Make sure to link everything to the global doc so we can find it. Also, just send him an email or a message. Let's see. Okay, so next is the costs and the fees. I mean, we really just don't know what her costs and fees are because we don't know how she wants to go. It might be PayPal or something like that. We'll figure that out. So right now we'll just say $0. And we know this is yellow. So anything we're not really sure about, we always make it yellow. her lowest agreed upon hourly rate for the base pay would be like that, $3 an hour for currently, and then her lowest agreed hourly cost is $5 an hour, which is her back pay. And this does not need to be, oops, wrong direction. There we go. All right, and then percentage base versus agreed upon base is 85. And then you can just like go like that, boom, and then that shows where she is on sort A to Z. Yep. So that's where Lucy fits on the lines of the ranking. So that's how that works. So now we still need to do James and Mohammed. Again, if you don't have the personnel file updated, then obviously you can't use the personnel file to fill this in, and then you have to go back to the training on how to fill in the personnel file to make sure the personnel file is updated based on the input form and the other information that goes into the personnel file. Cool. So I think that's pretty much it. So you guys have any questions on this? Any questions on updating the personnel ranking doc of the budget? Okay. And so these would be two tasks of James and Mohammed. So this would be tasks on our buddy team notes. We would have task here would be update Muhammad's and James's personnel files, if not already, and then update Muhammad and James on the personnel ranking prioritization. Okay. So work time is pretty simple. You know, we basically take the individual, their name, we freeze this, and then all we got to do is somehow figure out, freeze the column, how many hours they work. So this would be basically like, you know, total hours. And typically this would be for the month, right? For the month, you could do, total hours for the month. You could do total hours last week, right? And you could also do, you know, total quarterly hours, right? So you can kind of, you know, do that kind of breakdown. And there's also, you know, other community equity. So community equity deliverables, all that kind of stuff, right? So that is basically, you know, part of value. This is part of value tracking because this directly relates to community equity, which is the CE. All right. And this would be for April/May work time. So, you know, I mean, obviously we can start to fill some of this in terms of like work time and hours and, you know, how that all works. So total community equity, and you could also do all time and all community equity. So there's a lot of different ways to break this down, but overall we want to, you know, generally rank like the amount of work that people are doing. And then the last one is evaluations. It would basically be the same information here, except instead of, one more. So this would basically be the same information, except right here we're doing evaluations. So, there might be like, daily evals, there might be weekly evals, and there might be monthly evals, something like that. I don't see us doing any more than that. This might be like, maybe it's a session evals or whatever. So we're going to get into our evaluation system. So then maybe there's also elections if they happen, but that's kind of rarer. Can I ask the spreadsheet X person ranking? Yeah. What's the question? I mean the link. The link. It is in our global team doc. So if you go to the global team doc, which I believe is right here, it would be so here's the top. Got all of our, these are our main docs, individual main docs, and then these are info docs here. Scheduling availability, we definitely need to do more on that. Async master scheduling, so this would be right here, this one. Personnel prioritization ranking. There it is. Cool. So I think the next thing we want to look at is, so yes, this is other tasks that could be done. Let's add this up. So we basically want to start adding up people's total, work and community equity that they've done. So this would be this for our buddy team today. So tasks. Oops. All right, so the other task is basically start to document all of the work hours that workers have done. Feedback totals. All right. And we got to figure out where to put that. And then the other is, I guess this isn't a task yet. It would be a next step. So under next steps, we would put, evaluations. We do what's called 720 evaluations. And I think one way to do this is that we're going to have, okay, let's go over evaluations briefly. So 720 evaluations planning. All right, so a couple ideas here, because this is important, and let's go ahead and index this. So we're going to index this at minute 34. All right, so where were we here? Question mark. Jay, global team contact list, don't linking, just want to remember. I know we don't have it. We do not have the global contact list. So I got to create a new one or get the one that James did somehow. Just keep emailing, calling, getting James's info. So this is 34 minute. So 720 evaluations, come up here, 720 evaluations, processing, and we're going to make the index. This is something you guys can be helping with, and it's going to be minute 34. All right, and then copy and So really quickly, just to lay out some of the ideas for the evaluation planning, there's going to be a couple ways to do this. One is we're going to have a blank evaluations form. So we need to create this form. I think I could probably handle this. Jay can do this. And basically what it'll have is that, maybe like, 3 to 5 people or groups can be easily evaluated regardless of which groups or people. Okay, so that's one option. The next is, so that's like the blank. So basically you could use that for any evaluation process. The next is we want to create one just for our team, so that we would do like, evaluation form for double team Jay, Ulysses, Abdul, and wait, what's this question here? Checking your system mercury session date and time and UTC +0. Well, that's really easy to find out. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. So evaluation form for double team Jay, Ulysses, Abdul, and Lucy. Okay, so we could do an evaluation form for us. I think we also would have an evaluation form for when there's also going to be a self-evaluation process. I think this would be monthly. So evaluation form for the entire global team, and evaluation form for Andromeda team. Yeah, so these would be the evaluation forms that we create, directly. And we probably want to create an evaluation form for the full team as well eventually. Self-evaluation process would be monthly evaluation. I guess this could even be a form as well. We do that once a month. So I think that's pretty. I think we could have a weekly one too. Self-evaluation form weekly. Maybe it's a little more in depth. I don't know. Maybe it's the same form. But the more the better, right? Okay, so I think those we can easily get set up. And then once we have all that going, we'll be able to just, do that. And the first one is just getting the blank evaluation form because you basically evaluate anything on this. Whereas these ones will actually be set up. From here, we'll eventually be making election forms, which we will be getting more of over time. Okay, so that's done. So we're going to need to go more into the evaluations planning, but basically once we have these forms, people will be able to fill out the form and start evaluating themselves, evaluating others, evaluating groups, and evaluating teams. So you'll be able to evaluate buddy teams and individuals, as well as groups and organizations. So what can be evaluated? So you can evaluate yourself, and evaluate other people and personnel. You can evaluate buddy teams, double teams, full teams, other teams, and organizations. You can evaluate entire organizations. And pretty much anything else that needs to be evaluated. And that's part of what 720 evaluations are, is we all evaluate each other on everything all the time. So there is no, yeah, okay. All right, so let's go on to the next topic, which is the scheduling. So this would be scheduling and calendar. How to find an event in a certain time zone. Question mark. Okay, so let's see where we're at now as far as the time goes. We are at minute 39. Let's just say minute 40, just for fun. Paste. minute 30, 40. Okay. All right, so we are going to check in on how to find an event for a certain time zone. How to find an event for a certain time zone. Okay, so the first thing is the website, right? Our website is unitynet.info. We have a lot of websites. This is one of them. It's the easiest way to get to our current calendar. You would click on calendars, right? And then when you get to calendars here, you have our different time zones. So we use the percentage moon time, which we'll get to. Is actually a pretty easy task we can add to our next steps. Percentage moon time updating. Then you have UTC. So globally, we use UTC and the percentage moon time. That's how we do all of our global calendars. So we have 2 global times. As far as organizing goes, we split the world up into different zones. There's the half zones, which is the old half and the new half of the world. We have our triad zones, and then we have our quadrant times. We typically use the quadrant times the most just because they seem to be most effective in organizing. And so you have UTC -6, UTC +0, which is the one we just asked for, and UTC +6 for Asia quadrant time, Africa quadrant time, America. So if we click on Africa, this would be coordinated universal time, which is the center of the world. You can see we are just finishing up our session here. And you can see that the Mercury session is on Saturday at 1 p.m. UTC. And that is pretty much it. That's how you find the calendar and what's going on. So this is the next global session, is the Mercury session. And hopefully we'll get a pretty good turnout. From there, the one after that is the full moon session, which is right here on Thursday, 5/11. Interesting because this must be in Pacific time, but we could double check this to make sure it's on the right day. So you can see here that usually it would be in UTC. It's an easy thing to double check. So the easiest way to double check this, and let's just look at the next one after this too. Nothing that week. We have the quarter moon. And then there's a, well, this is probably not a real Mercury session. I don't think that works. Yeah, so I think the next one after this is the Venus session, which is at 8 p.m. on Monday, June 12th. Okay, so that's another task to do. So we need to update calendar to check on Mercury async session. I think it's wrong. It is wrong. So this would probably be a training. I'll probably end up doing this. So we could even make this a next step. So I can show how you can update the calendar. Okay, so I feel like we're doing pretty good here. That's looking good. Let's go to, I'll make sure that answers your question. Does that answer your question? So I was gonna really quickly double check on the moon time here. The full moon, yeah. So this one I just want to double check on the full moon time here. So the easiest way to do this is you would go to the website unitynet.info. Go to calendars and go to moon time pad. And this is going to come down to the NASA SkyCal. I believe it is this one. Let's find out. Yep, this is it. All right, so we want to go to Julian. That's all fine. Actually, we really just need the moon phases because we just want to know about the full moon. And we want to do it for May. That's correct. And we just want the month. And we want to make sure the time zone is UTC because sometimes that is the whole problem. Full moon on the 4th of May. That's interesting. 3:42 a.m. UTC. That doesn't seem right. Let's try this again. So we have universal coordinated time. Let's do the whole thing over again. Let's make sure this is all correct. So first step is universal coordinated time. Done. Lunar phases. Done. Year 2017. Very important. Month, May. And then we are good to go. There we go, that's better. So 15:43 is 3:43 in the afternoon, right? 3:43 in the afternoon is the full moon session for UTC. So we go to back to here. No, we go to here, and it says 9 p.m. UTC on 5/11. This says 3:43 p.m. So it'd be 3 p.m. on the 10th. So I guess I can show you really quickly how to update the calendar real quick. So in here I go to calendars and I have to log in. Obviously you'd have the login. You needed to log in to do this. We want to go to May 10th right here on Wednesday. And right now it says the full moon is at 9 p.m. on the 11th, which is obviously incorrect. It's just very strange how that happened. Let's just double check one more time. So full moon on the 10th, 3 p.m. You think of 3 p.m., right? Watch this. If you do UTC minus 8, and then you click on it, you get the closer to what it is now. So that's why that happened. Okay, so we're going to change it to be the correct time, which is, it's still kind of odd that it's the wrong day though. Okay, so we know that this is going to be 3 o'clock p.m. 3 o'clock p.m. Make sure the time zone's correct. Yep, that's correct. And it's 4 to 4, and this is good. Everyone's invited. Save. Send. Cool. Oh, and it's the wrong day. Whoops. All right, so the day is the 10th. Save. Send. There you go. Okay, so that is actually the correct time. All right, so let's double check up here just to make sure it worked. Update this. We're gonna go to next week and we will see the full moon session from 3 to 4 p.m. UTC. Cool, that's correct. All right, so let's check on our questions here. Can you give the link to the calendar? Well, I told you the link to the calendar. Yep, there it is. Boom. So this is, yes, that's from Asia time. So Asia time is really easy to get to as well. You would just click on all the calendars. You'd come down to Asia time, which is GC +6. And we're just going to finish up here. So this Saturday at 7 p.m. is the Mercury session. And next week The full moon session's at 9 p.m. Asia time. We do not have a quarter moon session scheduled. This Mercury session is probably going to be canceled because it's not correct. And this is looking good. And then we have the Venus session at 2 in the afternoon. Cool. Awesome. So that all looks good. So from there, I might as well just really quickly update the Mercury session. So the main question here for the Mercury session is whether or not it was scheduled correctly. So go to America's project. This would be calendar and scheduling. Mercury sessions. So we're going to need a doc for the Mercury sessions. But we have Saturday, the 6th of May for the aphelion. And so then the perihelion would be, what would that be? So I'll show you really quick how you can see, look up Okay, so I believe it is this one here. And this is how you look up the planets, all right? So the planets, the first thing you have to do is you gotta get the time zone right. Again, if you don't get the time zone right, you get the wrong time. And that's one of the reasons why we don't like. So here it says somewhere in the United States, wrong. Well, you're gonna change that. And that's a random link. And trust me, this is all random links. Okay, so from here, you have to find the time. Right here, there's the time. And we want to go to UTC. And then you have to come down here and you can push the little green button. All right, so now we're in the correct time. Right, time zone UTC. Then we're going to go to the long table of contents. And in this case, we want Mercury. So we find the planet. We come down to phenomena. You click on phenomena. And it pulls up the phenomena for duration extended to 91 days. All right, so that's plenty of data. So if we come here, aphelion is May 6th. There it is at 13.5. That's correct. 321. So it'll be 1:30 UTC. So let's double check it. Might as well since we're in the moment. So this is June. This is May 6th at 7 p.m. Maybe this is wrong too. And these are all things that we have to double, triple, quadruple check. So here it says 13.5 hours. So let's go to our scheduling, calendar scheduling at 1:30 p.m. UTC. Right there, that's what it says. Okay, so let's see here what's going on. So we go to Saturday. I guess we're going to Sunday, right? Wait, so this is today. Okay, so here's Saturday at 1 p.m. UTC. That's correct. Oh, I know why it's not correct. Because this is no longer UTC. This is UTC plus 6. Okay? So if we go to calendars, we go to UTC, we will see that it's at 1 p.m. Perfect. So that's correct. And then the full moon next week is at 3 p.m. So let's see if that is right. Full moon's at 3 p.m. Perfect. Okay, so then the next question is when is the perihelion? There's the perihelion. So this is June 19th, 2017. And we can do this for pretty much like we can go on for like a year or more. So it's 19th of June and it is at the time of 13. So this is also at 1 o'clock. So it'll be 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's pretty much the same time. 1 o'clock. So it's a little after 1. It's good to note 1.2. So if you have 0.2, you basically take 0.2 times, there's 60 minutes in an hour, and that would be 12 minutes. So it's technically at 1:12 p.m. UTC. And we just round this to 1 o'clock UTC. And this is June 19th. So what would happen here is if we go here, we find this right here, the Mercury perihelion session is not correct. It is actually June 19th right here. And it repeats every 12 weeks, which is about right. Only this event, following events. Done. Okay. So that's good. So then the next one is this right here. This is actually on June 19th. June 19th at exactly 1 o'clock p.m. So this would be June 19th at 1 o'clock p.m. So 1 o'clock p.m. be an hour, and this would be UTC. Done. And we're changing these so that they basically only repeat like once or twice. Okay, and this is repeats every 12 weeks. Done. Okay, cool. Save. Following events. Cool. So now we have the Mercury perihelion correct in the calendar. So that's how you do that. And again, whenever you're doing this stuff, the focus is double, triple, quadruple checking it. If there's all these details of times, hours, making sure it's all correct. And there's so many different planets and different schedules and different time zones. So you just have to double, triple, quadruple check. Okay, so that is done. Let's go back to the questions here. Jay, to start talking about all the workouts, is this spreadsheet created? No, it's not created. If you could create it, that would be great. Okay, so I think we're at time. Another next step that we're going to want to do tomorrow is, where's our buddy team? Here it is. Next step is definitely, and this is pretty much done. We finished this, done. Okay. Next step is going to be equity. So equity, individual equity tracking, individual equity tracking. That's the equity and community equity tracking. And we'll get to that hopefully tomorrow. So again, we need to copy the next steps. Let's make sure this is a task as well. So copy next steps from today into the master topic list, right? So our next steps, these are topics, right? So I can start putting here topics. Hopefully that helps. Topics/priorities, right? So the topics/priorities list. And then we want to copy all next steps from all previous meetings into the topic/priorities list, into the master. Cool. So those are other tasks that can be done. All right. I think we're looking good here. All done. Yes. Great job. Thank you so much. I felt this was a good session. We got through all the key trainings that we need to do. We got a ton of tasks accomplished, and also some important tasks. And I would just bold this one, like anything that has to do with James, Mohammed, and Lucy, getting them involved is important. And so I want to make sure that we're prioritizing. Where is it? Copy all next steps. No. Start talking about teaching on the global content, copy and paste. Huh. I don't see it here, but I know it's there. And thought I put it in. I'll just add it again. Yesterday's LinkedIn reports, copy this video, update. Okay, okay, I'm just gonna write this again. Maybe I wrote it somewhere else accidentally, but update James and Muhammad's lines on the ranking sheet, the personnel ranking spreadsheet. Cool. All right. There's no, of course, video training today already added. Awesome. Did you guys really add the video training? And one of the things for the video indexing is it really we should be linking the master video index to every document. And I know it is linked to our global stuff. So here's the master one. Just copy and paste this here so that it's just directly linked. Okay. Oh, so this is for May 1st, video indexing. So this is not today, this is a different day, yesterday. So May 2nd, I don't see May 2nd. Do you put it on the bottom? No, I don't see it. Okay, well, I don't see it. So we definitely, so you got yesterday's, which is great. So you want to copy today's into it. And we can add that as well as a task. So copy today's video indexing into the master video indexing list. Okay. But one thing we can do is we know that this personnel ranking, this right here is a great one. It can go just directly into personnel. Personnel filing, personnel policies, and personnel ranking. Cool. And that's part of what you guys want to be doing is helping. So payroll, obviously payroll goes into finances. So you pop that down here, finances. So you want to start categorizing them. So spreadify a week-to-week plan. This would be part of documentations, I would assume. Yeah, we'll just put it under documentations. Anyways, over time, we'll get better at organizing all of this stuff. Okay, and overall plan structure or global team. This would just be team trainings, and updates. Okay, so yesterday's done. It's all organized. And typically I put it at the bottom. So new video indexing, and so that we can bring it up. Cool. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Good work. Bye. Be sure to do the video index after this video indexing. All right, let's stop this. Thank you guys all for watching.